Welcome to this class. Today we are continuing the subject Science and Technology of class 9 and the chapter is Energy, and this is second part of this chapter. Okay, today I want to focus on solar energy because our subject matter is solar energy and the uses of solar energy. Different technologies are developed to use the solar energy, and today we are going to focus on it. But I want to recall the renewable and non-renewable sources of energy which was taught in previous class, and then we'll enter into solar energy. Okay, this is the list of renewable source of energy which was made in previous class. Number 1, solar energy, tidal energy, geothermal energy, wind energy, biomass energy, hydroelectricity and hydrogen. These are the renewable sources of energy. Why we are saying these are renewable sources of energy? The reason is the sources of energy which recover itself in the nature after their use due to the high rate of production than that of the consumption are called renewable sources of energy. It means rate of production is very high but rate of consumption is very less, and because of that reason they are available forever and they are also called perpetual source of energy. And what are non-renewable sources of energy? We made a list in previous class. Fossil fuel, which includes coal, petroleum and natural gas, are the non-renewable source of energy. Besides this, nuclear fuel, in mainly uranium-235, is also non-renewable sources of energy. And why are they called non-renewable sources of energy? The reason is very simple. The sources of energy which cannot be recovered in the nature after their use due to high rate of consumption than that of the production are called non-renewable sources of energy. They takes millions of years for the formation and we are using them at very high rate, and that's why they are going to be finished within few decades, and that's why we would have problem in near future. That problem is called energy crisis. It was taught in previous class also. These are non-renewable sources of energy. Mainly the focus is on fossil fuel. I want to show you again the same list of renewable source of energy. In this source of energy, these all the sources of energy, wind energy, biomass, hydroelectricity and hydrogen, all of them are related to solar energy. Actually, directly or indirectly they came from solar energy, but the tidal energy and geothermal energy, they are different. They are not related to solar energy. That's why I want to finish these two first, and then we'll enter into the sources of energy which directly or indirectly comes from solar energy. Now, what is tidal energy? I want to tell you about the tidal power plant. First, what is tidal energy? Do you know what is tide? The rise and fall of level of water in the sea is called tide. If water level rises, then we say this is high tide. If water level falls down, then we used to say now low tide came. This occurs because of the lunar attraction force. I mean to say Moon's gravitational force produces high tide and low tide in the sea water and ocean water. When Moon comes in front of the sea or ocean, then because of the gravitational force of the Moon, level of water rises and this is called high tide. And when Earth turns and it makes an angle of 90 degrees with the Moon, then the level of water falls down. This cycle continues forever. I mean to say, after every 6 hours, the level of water rises to maximum value, and after every 6 hours, the level of water goes down to the minimum value. This is called high tide and low tide. We are using tide to produce energy, electrical energy, by tidal power plant. This is simple construction which represents the tidal power plant. A reservoir is made near to the sea, and when sea level rises up, I mean to say high tide comes, then water enters into the reservoir and it rotates the turbine which is placed in between the sea and reservoir, as shown in figure A. But when low tide comes, then level of water falls down in sea, and that's why the water moves from reservoir to the sea, as shown in figure B. At this time also, the water which is moving towards the sea rotates the turbine. And when turbine is rotated, then it runs generator and generator produces electricity. This way, tidal power plant produces electricity, which can be shortly represented like this. In tidal power plant, a turbine is set near to the sea in such a way that in high tide, water rotates the turbine and enters into the reservoir as shown in the diagram A. In the same way, in low tide, water comes back to the sea from the reservoir as shown in the diagram B, rotating the turbine. In this process, turbine runs generator and electricity is produced in generator. This way, tidal power plant works. Now let's talk about geothermal energy. Exactly what is it? Geo means earth, thermal means heat. Earth's heat energy. We can say this way, heat energy obtained from the hot rocks of the earth crust is called geothermal energy. Earth has got 4 different layers. The first layer is called crust, second mantle, third outer core, fourth inner core. And we are on the surface of crust. When we go inside the surface of the earth, then we'll get lot of rocks. These rocks are very hot at certain place. The earth crust is mainly made up of rock, and rock is somewhere very hot. Very few places we have hot rocks, and these hot rocks are called hot points. When water pipe is buried into the ground to this hot point and water is poured into it, then it boils when it reaches to the hot part of the rock, and boiled water can be taken out. That's why when 2 water pipes are buried into the ground where there is hot points, then water can be boiled and high speed steam can be taken out, and this high speed steam can be used to rotate the turbine. Turbine runs generator and electricity can be produced. This can be described briefly like this. At first, a pipeline is buried up to the hot point of the earth crust, and another pipeline is also buried very close to it. Water is then poured from one of the pipeline, which when heated up by the hot rocks comes out through another pipeline in the form of high speed moving steam and is used to rotate the turbine, which runs generator, and thus electricity is produced. Okay, I want to come back to the same sources of energy. What are these? These are renewable sources of energy, and I want to add non-renewable sources of energy also here. This is fossil fuel. Besides this tidal energy and geothermal energy, all these sources of energy are directly or indirectly related to solar energy, or all of them, we can say all of them are either direct or indirect consequence of solar energy. If it is so, then we can say that sun is the ultimate source of energy. This way we can say that sun is the ultimate source of energy. I'll describe why we can say, how we can say sun is the ultimate source of energy. But after this, I want to introduce certain technology which are developed for using solar energy. First, how can we say that sun is the ultimate source of energy? Let's talk about this, and then we'll enter into solar energy and different technology which is designed to use the solar energy. Now, sun is ultimate source of energy. The reason is very simple. All the sources of energy except few, just like tidal energy, geothermal energy, all other sources of energy are the direct or indirect consequence of solar energy. If it is so, then certainly sun is the main source of energy, major source of energy, or we can say sun is the ultimate source of energy. We can say a little more about this also. The Earth's surface remains warm and atmosphere also remains warm because of solar energy and becomes suitable for the existence of living organism. That's why sun is the ultimate source of energy. We can add a little more also. All the plant prepare or manufacture their own food by the process of photosynthesis. and they survive because of photosynthesis, and in this process they utilize solar light energy. And when they survive, then animal eat them to exist. It means the existence of plant and animal is because of the solar energy. So we can say that sun is the ultimate source of energy. We can write it very shortly like this. Almost all the sources of energy are direct or indirect consequence of solar energy. Moreover, surface of the earth remains warm and suitable for the existence of human and other living organism due to solar heat energy, and plant exists due to the sunlight and provides energy for the animal for their existence. Therefore, sun is known as ultimate source of energy. This way we can say that the major source of energy is sun. Now I want to come back. If it is so, now how can we say that wind energy is one of the consequences of solar energy? How can we say that hydroelectricity is one of the consequences of solar energy? In the same way, how can we say that fossil fuel is also one of the consequences of solar energy? Now let's talk about them one by one. How can we say that these sources of energy came from solar energy? Okay, let's start. Wind energy. What is it? The energy obtained by the blowing air is called wind energy. And wind energy can be used in different purposes. Just for example, wind energy can be used to produce electricity by using this wind turbine. Wind turbine runs generator and generator produces electricity. Wind energy is converted to electrical energy. In the same way, wind energy can be used directly to pull water, underground water. But how can we say that this wind energy is one of the consequences of solar energy? We can understand this way. Solar heat energy, when falls on the ground, then the ground is heated up. The air which is present on the ground is heated up, it becomes lighter and then it moves up. And to take the place of this air which moved up, the cold air blows towards that region. This way, blowing of air is possible because of solar heat energy. And because of solar heat energy, wind blows. And wind energy is utilized for different purposes. So we can say that wind energy is one of the consequences of solar energy. Now let's talk about biomass energy. Do you remember what is biomass? Mass of plant body and animal waste which is used to produce heat energy is called biomass energy. And it is available in different forms: solid form, firewood, dung, cake, etc., liquid form, alcohol, and in gaseous form, biogas. And all these are obtained from the plant, and plant gives all these, and plants survive because of the solar light energy. That's why we can say that actually biomass energy is produced by the solar energy. This is the energy which came from solar energy, and thus we can say that one of the consequences of solar energy is biomass energy. Now let's talk about hydroelectricity. How hydroelectricity runs? Hydroelectricity has got one big dam where water is collected and a tunnel is connected to it, and water flows through the tunnel and it rotates the turbine, and turbine is connected to a generator this way, and when turbine rotates, it rotates the coil of the generator and electricity is produced. This way hydroelectricity works. And energy conversion in the hydroelectricity is the potential energy which is contained in the dam, water of the dam, converts to kinetic energy when the same water flows through the tunnel, and when flowing water rotates the turbine, the same converts to mechanical energy, and when generator runs, then mechanical energy converts to electrical energy. Thus, a hydroelectricity converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. But this is huge amount of water. How it comes to hydroelectric power plant? This question is how this water comes to hydroelectric power plant. This dam has got few square kilometer area. It occupies few square kilometer area and it has huge amount of water in it. And how it comes? It comes because of this water cycle. Water cycle means solar heat energy evaporates water from different sources, mainly from the sea, and it converts to cloud in the sky. And when cloud move towards the cold region, and water particle becomes heavy and it condenses and rainfall occurs, and rainfall provides water in the dam of hydroelectric power plant. So actually the hydroelectricity is one of the consequences of solar energy. Okay, now let's move to another point also. Fossil fuel is one of the consequences of solar energy. How can we say so? Do you remember what is fossil fuel? The fuel formed in the earth crust by the decomposition of the fossil of plant and animal at high temperature and pressure in the course of millions of years is called fossil fuel, for example coal, petroleum, etc. It was taught in previous class. In ancient time, many forests were buried into the ground. In the same way, in ancient time, the small plants and animals of the sea were buried into the ground. They came under very high temperature, very high pressure, and in the absence of oxygen, the body of plant and body of a small plant and animal decomposed to form what? Coal and petroleum. This way petroleum formed. It means all these are formed from the plant body and animal body. Plants survive with the help of sunlight, which they use in the process of photosynthesis. Animals survive by feeding plant. Since fossil fuel forms from the fossil of plant and animal, hence it is one of the consequences of solar energy. This way we can say that fossil fuel is also one of the consequences of solar energy. Thus we can conclude that all the other sources of energy except few, actually they came from solar energy. They are the direct or indirect consequence of solar energy. That's why solar energy is the major source of energy for human. Okay, now let's talk about the characteristic of solar energy. There are few very interesting characteristics of solar energy. It is free of cost. Solar energy is free of cost. And it is a renewable source of energy. It never finishes. It is available forever. It is perpetual source of energy. And another point we can say that it is available in almost all the places of the earth. If it is so, then why don't we increase the use of solar energy? Why don't we replace the use of petroleum with the development of technology using solar energy? This is a prime question. So nowadays scientists are very busy in making different machineries and different technology which can be used to use the solar energy as far as possible. Okay, now I want to focus on solar energy. Exactly how can we define solar energy? Energy obtained from the sun, which we get mainly in the form of heat and light energy, is called solar energy. And this solar energy is free of cost, and this is a renewable source of energy. We get it in different places of the earth, and we are using this from hundreds of years. Now I want to mention the traditional use of solar energy, then I will come back to modern method of using solar energy. Traditional use of solar energy. What are they? Solar energy is used for drying clothes. Very simple. Till now we are drying our clothes with the help of solar energy, solar heat energy. Number two, sun drying is a technique used for preserving food. Different food substances are preserved by drying these food substances, which reduces moisture percentage in the food. When moisture percentage becomes less than 10% or 5%, then activity of the bacteria is restricted and it can be preserved for long time. And another important use, traditional use of solar energy is, it is used for obtaining salt from the sea water, and this is also called salt farming. The places which are near to the sea and the field which are very close to it is allowed to fill with seawater which contains huge amount of salt. And when salt is filled in these fields, then it is allowed to evaporate for few days. When water evaporates, then concentration of salt becomes more and more, and the salt crystallizes, and crystallized salt is then separated from water. This way we are getting salt from the sea. This is the traditional method of extraction of salt from the sea. These are some traditional use of solar energy. But nowadays we are using different devices which are based on solar heat energy. They are solar cooker, they are solar water heater, they are solar furnace, and solar power plant. These are some devices which are based on solar heat energy, and nowadays they are being popular and used in different places. Now I want to talk about each of them. At first, let's talk about solar cooker. This is simple representation of solar cooker. It looks like a box and it has got mirror as a reflector, and when sunlight falls on the mirror, then it will be reflected back to this utensil, and utensil get heated up, and the food substances which are placed in utensil is cooked. This way it works. It can be shortly described like this. A solar cooker appears like a box in which solar heat energy, infrared rays, solar heat energy means infrared rays, is reflected by using mirror reflector to heat a utensil kept in the box, and the food substance placed in the utensil is cooked. This way we are using solar energy, heat energy, to cook food by using solar cooker. The solar cooker may be of different shape. Look at this. This is another solar cooker which can be folded. Here mirror, reflector mirror is shown, but can be folded, and it is used here to cook rice. And here also solar cooker is shaped like a concave shape, and heat reflector are attached on the concave surface, and it is reflected back to a pot where something is frying. This is the food is frying here, and this way solar cooker can be used in cooking food. And normally solar cooker is available in the form of box like this, which I told you just before this, and here we have pot, and this is the mirror reflector which reflects heat energy to the pot. Okay, now let's talk about another device, solar water heater. Nowadays this solar water heater is very common in our houses. At the top of the house it is set. If you have seen this, it has got two major parts. One is storage tank, this is a storage tank, and another is evacuated glass tube which is blackened to absorb lot of heat energy to heat the water quickly. And storage tank and evacuated this glass tube which is blackened, and there is the supply of cold water and exit for the hot water. When water is supplied to it, then it goes down into the tube and it is heated by the solar heat energy, and hot water enters into the storage tank, because when it becomes hot it becomes light and rises up and enters into the water tank, and that can be supplied to the bathroom and other places. This way it works. We can write shortly like this. A solar water heater consists of evacuated blackened glass tubes arranged parallel to each other and are connected to the water storage tank. Water is supplied from the lower part of the tank, which when enters into the tubes get heated up by the absorption of solar heat energy. Hot water becomes lighter and rises up and enters into the storage tank and moves to the upper part of the tank. An outlet takes it out from the upper part of the tank. This is the working of solar water heater. Now let's talk about solar dryer. Looking at the name, you can understand easily it is used to dry the fruit. I mean to say, it is used to reduce the moisture content in the food substances and can be preserved for a long time. It is somewhat like this. It is somewhat triangular in shape. The upper part is covered with glass, and this glass allows solar heat energy to enter into the the solar dryer. Its inner surface is blackened, and black substances absorbs heat energy, and environment of this solar dryer will be hot because of more heat energy, and there is an entrance for cold air into the dryer, and there is another outlet for hot air also when cold air becomes hot because of this heat energy this air is getting from the sun. Then this hot air dries the food substances, and it goes out. Hot air is lighter than cold air, goes out from the upper side, and it is kept in an insulated frame. This way it works, and we have lot of advantage of solar dryer. If we dry food substances in open place, then it takes a long time, may take 2 or 3 or 5 days, but it will take very short time period inside the solar dryer. And there are other matter also. The birds won't feed on these food substances, and it is safe from dust particles also and other extra foreign materials also. This way solar dryer is used to preserve food for long time. Now solar furnace. Now I want to show once solar furnace. This is a construction of solar furnace, but looking at this, I think the student cannot understand clearly. It has got 3 major parts. I want to show it with some another type of diagram. One is called heliostat, which reflects solar heat energy towards this concentrator, which is normally parabolic in shape. This concentrator is really looks like this. This is the concentrator. It is parabolic in shape, and its surface is attached with reflecting mirrors. First, heliostat reflects sunlight towards the parabolic concentrator, and this concentrator concentrates the solar heat energy into a point, and this is the point where the solar heat energy is concentrated. Since lot of heat energy is concentrated at single point, that's why temperature of this point becomes very huge, and it will exceed more than 3000 degrees Celsius. At this temperature even iron can be melted, and furnace is used to provide very huge temperature, and it is used in melting of the metals also. And there is a sorter also, which when we need to decrease the intensity of heat energy, we can sort down the sorter, and we can increase or decrease the supply of heat energy from the sun to the concentrator using sorter. This diagram makes you very clear, but here real appearance is a little different, but the basic matter is the same. This heliostat, here many heliostat are arranged, and they are reflecting sunlight towards this concentrator, and concentrator is concentrating that to a point. Here the point is set. This way solar furnace works. I told you many devices which are based on solar heat energy. Now I want to talk about solar electricity. And solar electricity is produced by using solar cell and solar panel. So what is solar cell and what is solar panel? First we have to understand about the solar cell and panel. The cells which converts light energy into electrical energy and is made up of thin layer of silicon or gallium is called solar cells. Most of the cells are made by using silicon layer. A gallium is rarely used, but gallium can also be used. This is solar cell, which consists of what? Silicon. How it works? When solar light energy falls on this silicon surface, then the electrons contained in the silicon, free electrons contained in the silicon, begin to move towards one particular direction, and certain potential difference create between two ends of the cell, and because of this potential difference the current flows from one place to another place. This way the solar cell works. Now what is solar panel? The group of solar cells is called solar panel, in which cells are arranged or joined together in a definite pattern. We can see this. Look at this is photovoltaic cell or single solar cell, when they are arranged in this way, this pattern, then we can say that this is the model, solar model. And if the model, few models are arranged in this way, then we can say this is solar panel. And if solar panel are arranged in this way, then we can say solar array. Okay, this way, according to the requirement, somewhere solar panel is used, somewhere solar array is used. If we need lot of electrical energy, then certainly we'll use array. But if we need less amount of energy, then we'll use panel, solar panel. Now let's talk about the use of this solar panel or solar array. It is used in solar lamp. These are the basic components of the solar lamp: solar panel, battery, LED and controller. These four are the basic component of solar lamp, and it can be understood nicely like this. This is solar panel, and it is shown here also to make you very clear. Actually, it is set in such a way that it turns towards the sun. Thus, solar light energy, when falls on it, then then electric current produces, and electric current is then supplied to controller, and controller supplies it to battery. Intensity of solar light may vary throughout the day. Sometimes it becomes very high, and it is controlled by the controller, and voltage is adjusted by the solar controller. Otherwise, battery will be damaged. This way, there is solar controller between the battery and the solar panel. And when battery is charged, then battery releases current, and it passes through the controller to the LED. LED means we usually say lamp, but this is light emitting diode. And when current is passed to this LED, then it glows. This way it works. Now, I think I told you a lot about the solar energy. First, why solar energy is called the major source of energy. I told you about this a lot. And then we started talking about the use of solar energy, traditional use of solar energy, and nowadays what sort of equipments are made to use the solar energy. I told you about this also. At last, I want to mention the uses of solar energy again, and we'll stop the class. Okay, what are the uses of solar energy? We can remember this way. It is used for cooking food. It is used for heating water. It is used for the production of electricity, and it is used to light the street lamps and in the melting of metals in the furnace. And it is used to run solar calculators, solar watches and different equipments of satellites also. Okay, I think the target of class is achieved. Today's target was to make you clear about the sun is the ultimate source of energy, why. And another point was the use of different equipments which utilize solar energy for different purpose. I think I made you clear about these two major points. Now we'll meet in another class. Thank you.